Hello, welcome to another edition of the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I am your host, Grumm. It is good to have you, good to see you, good to, be present in your earbuds right now. Hello. I hope, you cleared out. Hopefully, you got a little earwax out from the last time. It is good to have you. I'm sorry for the delay of the podcast. I was messing around with some stuff because I'm like, have you ever been a perfectionist listener? Have you ever wanted something to be a certain way, and you just don't have it the way you want it? So you try to work and figure out a way to get it, even though it looks a little tough. That's what happens with our audio here. I did and I'm sure you can hear it a little bit there. I've got a fan in the background, and I was trying to get it out. I was trying to remove it, and I ended up just completely fucking up the entire audio. And I thought it was fine, and then when I went and listened to it, like individually away from the equipment, like it was not good. And I was like, all right, well let's fix this. Like, we'll just I'll delay it. And I'll take the onus for fucking it up because it's just a one-man operation over here. And, I was just like, whatever. Like, sometimes you fuck up things. You fuck up. Anyways, today we got my good friends Citra and Purple, both of them Twitch streamers, twitch.tv/Citra, that's Citra, and twitch.tv/Purple. Purple is in the color. That's right. He's got just the straight color there. We talked about, what did we talk about? Oh, yeah, This Is Your Life, which, is not, we talk about it, it's one of the highest rated segments of pro wrestling history, but it doesn't stop it from being dorky. Like, the people involved, Mick Foley is a dork, The Rock is very cool, but, like, the premise of it is very, very, blueprint for dorks, dork side of the ring type stuff. So we got there, we started talking about that. We talked about other like role play stuff, and because the three of us have done Grand Theft Auto role play, and it's just three goofball friends having a good time. So I hope you enjoy what you're about to hear. With all that out of the way, let's get to it. Me, Citra, Purple, talking This Is Your Life, the original, not any of this one. We're talking about The Rock, and we're talking about Mankind. We're talking about all the good fun stuff here on the Dork Side of the Ring. Here we go. The three of us goofing around. And go. Welcome back to the Dork Side of the Ring. It is me, still here, Grumm. I'm here with two of my friends, two wild boys, the mayors of Pachinki. Well, the mayor of Pachinki and his assistant, my friends Purple.
I'm just the clerk.
My friends Purple. I can't even get through it. Purple, say hi to the peoples.
Hello, hi, I'm Purple.
And also with me, the clerk, the city clerk, Citra.
Hello.
And Citra. Guys, good to have you. I'm looking forward to this one because I was talking a little bit about it. Purple's going to react to this, and we're not going to be able to actually talk about what we're actually here to talk about. It's just how Purple's reaction. So this is a special edition of Dork Side. It's called Purple Reacts. But no, so
that's not the title of this episode. I'm pretty disappointed.
I might have to like put it in like parentheses, like how like Fall Out Boy, like every other song of theirs had like what it was, and then like what like their parentheses was. That's gonna be like that.
Like Good Riddance,
yeah.
Time of Your Life.
Yep, exactly. It's gonna be what we're about to watch, and then because you guys still don't know what it is, so I'm not gonna give it away just yet. And then in parentheses, Purple reacts. But speaking of Purple, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I mean, do I want to like give a background as far as what I know about wrestling? Really,
We just
like,
not yet. We'll get to that.
I'll
Just
get
a
that.
little bit,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I play games and stuff. Pretty good amount. I do some streaming, and I stream a lot of role play. Took a little break here, a couple weeks to play some games, catch up on a backlog of stuff. But yeah, pretty, let's say pretty knowledgeable like when it comes to role play stuff. Pretending to be someone else.
Kind of like pro wrestlers.
Maybe you would. You may say yes.
Yeah, one would say,
that.
I will say that. I will be some and that one. Citra, your turn to give the people a little bit of information about you.
A little bit of information about me. So I also do some streaming stuff, mostly GTA RP. Co-founder of Tilly, and been a long time member of the Crew RP. I wish I could say I'm playing a backlog of games, but really I'm just playing PUBG right now. That's about it. Yeah, and I don't know. Known these two goofballs for a little while, and yeah, I don't know. Not a whole lot to know. I don't know. I'm a boring guy on the internet.
Aren't we all?
How's that?
Aren't we all, though?
Do you like Cracker Jacks?
Fuck.
No one's gonna get that.
No. Oh boy. Speaking of Cracker Jacks, just like Cracker Jacks and how I can never get enough of them, I can never get enough of pro wrestling. But that's not the case for everybody. So Citra, what's your experience with pro wrestling? We were talking about a little bit about it, but what's your experience with pro wrestling?
Yeah, so I haven't like watched wrestling in a long time, but I actually had like a pretty early, I guess, exposure to pro wrestling. I grew up in kind of downtown Halifax, and I grew up next to my best buddy from childhood, and his dad was a huge pro wrestling fan. So every time I go over there, be watching like WCW, WWF. And they had like every PlayStation, and we'd play all the pro wrestling games. So like goes way back to when I was a kid. But when I was 5 years old, my parents moved kind of out of the city, so I didn't kind of get that exposure. So it was kind of like really early in my life. And then I go back and hang out with him and his dad every now and then, and we play some wrestling and stuff like that. So I don't know a whole lot. But my name is also like my real name is Jake. So naturally as a kid, got attached to Jake the Snake, was my favorite wrestler. And he had this bag of snakes and stuff. He could like come out on the stage. So that was really what I had like as far as like actual exposure to pro wrestling, aside from see like the sex bed bit there. Talking about. Like stuff like that. But like so that's really it. Kind of early to mid to late 90s type thing.
All right, that's good. Well, Purple, how about yourself? What is your experience with pro wrestling?
Well, I'll try to keep it brief compared to Citra here.
Yeah, right.
Good luck. He's not gonna be able to make it through the first half of this story without giggling. But go ahead.
No,
it's a good one. So first thing is I didn't know Citra's name was Jake. I thought it was Jacob. I didn't go.
I mean, it is Jacob. Okay, but
I'll always I never use your real name though. Your pleb name. So how to get into wrestling though, or hear about it and stuff. So in the late 90s and stuff, my basically I moved, parents separated. I met this kid that lived in the area that was like in the neighborhood, and we both had N64s, and he had like this WWE like wrestling. I don't know which one it was, but it was a wrestling game, and we would like play it all the time. And it was we loved it. But I didn't know anything about wrestling really. And then there was this kid in elementary school, and I will always remember his name. His name was Keenan. Freaking Keenan. He was obsessed with wrestling, and he was that weird kid in elementary school. Everyone's just like, yeah, he's just a weird guy, but he was nice. And he would always like talk about like wrestling stuff, or like do like weird like wrestling references that no one got at any point in time. Like no one understood what he was saying and stuff. Like it's just weird. I mean, looking back on it, I mean, it's awesome he was into that. But the reason why I remember him so much is because you guys remember those milk pens, those milky ink pens?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh yeah.
They had like different colors in it and stuff.
Yeah.
You write with them like gel pen and stuff with like,
and like
milk ink.
Like 8 times more ink came out of them than any other pen on the market.
Yeah. So So, by the way, can we curse in this podcast?
Yes,
or,
yes,
like,
yeah,
is
yeah.
that- Okay. All right. So freaking Caden though. So
Can we curse for Caesar to say freaking?
Yeah, right.
I think it's more accurate though. You know, this goofy kid. So in our elementary school, we all progressed throughout the all different grades and stuff. So like I met him in first grade, and for the most part, he kind of just appeared in like all my classes most years.
Mhm.
And so we reached fifth grade, and those milk pens are like, that's like the thing. Like all the girls are like, gotta have like the neon notepad stuff with like the milk pens and stuff. And Keenan, just being that weird kid, he like he he undoes the pen and has the ink inside of it, and basically he's like, check this out, and he sucks on the other end of the tube, the other like the inside ink tube where it has an opening, and he's like, check out the tube, dude. And he sucks the ink and it moves, does this weird like movement. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, that's interesting. The problem though is he already did like 4 times that day, and so this like the 5th time he's showing me and a bunch of other people in our class. And so next thing you see, the ink just go boom, it just shoots all the way through the tube. And fucking Keenan, he opens his mouth in disgust, and it's just full of ink, this milky ink, and he just like, it's like his tongue out and just make, and like everyone's just laughing. Of course, it was Keenan. That's that. That's not even related to wrestling. But
So milky pens make you think about wrestling is the long.
Or no, wrestling makes him think of milky pens.
Or yeah.
Yeah. It makes me think of Keenan, that the kid, man. Oh damn.
Well. So you don't know anything.
I have a question. I have a question for Purple, Grumm.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask.
Can I take over for one question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So Purple.
Yeah.
You say that Keaton, is it Keaton? Is that how you pronounce it?
Keenan, Keenan.
Keenan. Okay. So you say that Keenan, like when you were growing up, is kind of this guy that made you think of wrestling, kind of a weird guy, but fun guy, like doing weird stuff. We like doing weird stuff. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
But would you say that Grumm is your modern day Keenan?
I'm not gonna lie. He did describe. He said, "Hey, he's just that weird guy who makes wrestling reference that no one understands." I'm like, "Hey, sounds like me." All right.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sucking down milky ink though. That's the only difference. I'm not sitting there
for show and tell.
It's just like, you guys come to my office. My office has all those. I've bought every last one of them. I'm just like taking a shot. I'm just like, just drinking it like Chevy Chase in fucking Community. Just like, I'm addicted to the ink. My tongue is all different colors.
Oh my God. This day, I can see the swirls from the tube on his tongue. So ridiculous. But possibly, yeah. I would say so. But I would say that Grumm is like the Keenan that has built other like learn about other things in the world than just wrestling.
Yes, I know more than just wrestling. It's not a lot, but I know a little bit more than just wrestling. I know which milky ink pens to actually drink. Not all of them. I've learned.
Okay.
I've learned.
You use one per example, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. So I watched. I didn't really watch wrestling. I know nothing about wrestling. I played wrestling games, and the kid who liked wrestling almost OD'd on milky ink. So, like, fucking Purple. All right. So
you reference all the entire time.
Made fun of me for my story.
So you guys are around. Both brought up like mid to late 90s, which is, for people our age, a lot of times where we started to get into wrestling as like older children, pre-teenish areas, and WWE is just showing us tits and ass and Stone Cold drinking beer and you know.
I have an amendment to my thing.
Yes.
Can I also
Oh,
say
God.
that my dad told me that it's fake? Is that?
Yeah, you were telling us. I was hoping you. Yeah, your dad told you it's fake.
Yeah, that's because I was a kid. There'd be days where I stay home from school, like I was sick or whatever, and like there'd be wrestling on, and I just like would just have it on. I didn't really understand it, and then like there was one time I told him about I was watching it, and he's like, "What do you do all day and stuff?" I was watching like the TV, and there's this wrestling thing, and he's like, "Oh, that's fake. You know that, right? You fucking know that, Will."
He's just like, he's got you like Billy Madison. He's shaking your face. He's like, "Do you understand it's fake?" I was talking about. We were talking. I was talking about this with Robin Pyre on their episode, but like, people use that as like like to adults as like, that's fake, right? And it's like, yeah. What the fuck is your point, my guy? Like to use it like to discredit like people enjoying it. It's like, that's fake, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-huh.
Do you watch TV shows?
So is your wife's love for you. So what's your point? Like, I'm staying out of my business. You stay the fuck out of my, like we're good. Like, I'll stay in my business. You stay in yours. We're good. Like, I hate people doing that. Like, especially like two kids that they don't know. Like your dad doing it to you is different, but like, yeah,
that's like fucking
it's
saying
fake.
Santa Claus is not real. Like, no, fuck those people. It's definitely Santa Claus is definitely real. Like, don't tell me he's not.
Yeah,
it's not a thing.
Yeah, no, Santa Claus is absolutely real, and you sit on his lap every winter to ask for your gifts. I've seen it. You've asked me to be your Santa Claus.
Yeah,
I think I have actually.
But yeah, so the 90s, late 90s is the wild time. A lot of some of the most popular wrestlers of all time have come from the 90s, because that's when wrestling was mainstream, accepted, a lot of fun, and was taking over all things pop culture. You had wrestlers on TV Guide. You had wrestlers like on the internet when it was at its infancy. Great times. Some of the favorites of people from those times, two of them, The Rock and Mankind. You guys know who those two gentlemen are? Maybe.
Definitely know who The Rock is.
The Mankind sounds familiar. I'm not. I'm sure if I saw what they look like, I would recognize them.
Gotcha. In 1999, The Rock and Mankind, who have been rivals in the past, were kind of a tag team called the Rock and Sock Connection. Because Mankind, Mick Foley, got a sock puppet on his hand over as Mr. Socko. So there's where the sock part, and then The Rock is The Rock. And The Rock, being the consummate cool guy that he is, ignored Mick Foley a lot, and disparaged him because he's a weird fat guy. And The Rock is The Rock. So Mankind, being the good friend that he is, tried to do nice things for The Rock, and The Rock would simply, kind of put him off. Then one fateful day, September 27, 1999, on Monday Night Raw, what was supposed to be about an 8-minute promo, and it turned into an 18-minute promo, and would go on to be the highest rated single segment in all of wrestling history. Mankind presented Rock, This Is Your Life. We're going to watch that. We're going to have fun with it. I'm excited for you two to watch it, because I think you guys will recognize some of the imagery from this, but there are parts of this that go completely under the radar because of some of the other parts. Like Mick Foley brings in people from The Rock's life, and The Rock just rips into them the whole time. It's great. We're gonna watch that, and we'll be back with just talking about it. We'll be right back.
Just to get this straight, Grumm, before we go to break.
Yes.
You're giving us one of the most iconic wrestling things of all time. Me in purple.
I'm giving you guys one of the most iconic ones that still to this day does not make any sense in the realm of pro wrestling.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you guys are going to look at this and go, why did he do this?
They're gonna be wrestling fans that are just gonna be like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?"
The whole point of this is to show people who may or may not be the biggest wrestling fans some of wrestling's more dorkiest things. This is well regarded as one of the best segments of all time. That doesn't exclude it from being dorky as fuck. It's incredibly dorky. It's also charming, and that's why
love dorky stuff.
Dorky,
so that, you know,
yeah, dorky and charming is exactly what we're about to watch. The Rock, This Is Your Life, from September 27, 1999, Monday Night Raw. We'll be back. No 5-star review read this week. Just reminding you, again, if you want to go on the Apple Podcast Store, iTunes, it's Apple Podcast Store, the Dork Side of the Ring podcast, not the Dork Side of the Ring. That's, if you're listening to this, Dork Side of the Podcast is where you want to go. It is me. It is a picture. It is a similar logo. If you're listening to this on like Spotify or Google Play or Google Podcasts or Anchor or something akin to that isn't Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, same logo. It is the cartoons of John Cena, James Brown, and Ernest the Cat Miller, the Gobbledygooker, Scott Steiner. So it's right there. Leave a 5-star review there. You know, and I'll read it in, either Macho Man or Dusty Rhodes' voice. Also, shout out this week, or last week, I should say, last week's Fun Report, Tyler I Am on his Patreon, having me on, and we got an excerpt from the second episode with JTR and Crawford. Go check out. I just wanted to take a moment to thank, on my platform, thank Tyler I Am. Trill Withers, for allowing me an opportunity to sit on his platform and talk about wrestling. So back to the show. Remember, leave a 5-star review in the Apple Podcast Store. 5 stars. Leave a review. Write it out, and Dusty or Macho Man will show up and read it for you. Back to the podcast. All right. Whew.
That was it.
That was it.
That was an event.
That was the Rock, This Is Your Life. And yeah. So, we just got done watching it, the segment. And I think if we were silent while watching it, we were doing that because, if anything, there was a lot to take in and to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of backstory that I don't know anything about. I have a lot of questions. I don't know where to start.
All right, well, let's start with at the start of it, right? Mankind comes down. Well, really, there's the before the break or during the commercial. Mankind asks Stone Cold Steve Austin if he wants to go to a party with him. He's like, "I'm throwing a party. Do you want to come?" Nah, I'm good. It's like immediately, no, I'm good. I don't need to.
Why was that necessary? Like, why was it even a thing? It's just because he's hanging out, he's around.
He's around.
Like, you know what? Let's get Stone Cold Steve Austin right here. He's here today. Oh, we filmed this content, baby.
Well, it's also like, like how ridiculous it all is, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm sure that the idea is like to kind of showcase just how wild this guy is, right? It's like, I know you're playing something stupid. I don't want to be involved in it.
I'm good.
Or it's Stone Cold Steve Austin being, would I say Stone Cold?
I hate you.
I just. That's what I felt. I was like, they're trying to show him like saying his character, in his role, what he does, and but I also don't know any of the lore other than his name is Stone Cold.
He's just cold.
Yeah, he's aptly. Yeah.
Well, so the reason why he's Stone Cold is because he originally debuted in WWE as the Ringmaster, the Master of the Ring, the Ringmaster. Which is just dumb.
Use hula hoops or something.
No, the wrestling ring. He was the master of it.
Oh, that makes more sense.
And he's like, this fucking sucks. I want to, I want to be something different. Like I'm not Stone Cold. Like that's not. I'm not the ringmaster. What the fuck is the ringmaster? And he was watching a like crime series about like a serial killer, and he had these like dead eyes, and he's like, dude, this guy's like, he's cold. And he like told Vince and the creative team like about it, and they came with like a whole bunch of names, and there's like Chili McFrosty, Frosty McFreeze.
That was Chili McFrosty.
Like some because they're looking like because he's talking about like the dead like the stone cold eyes of a killer, but he's describing the cold eyes of somebody, and they're like, oh, Chili McFreeze.
Chili.
Like they're
what does that mean? Like spicy cold eyes? Like...
Chili McFree. Like they're just bad names. So his wife is like in the other room while he's going through them, and she's like, "What about Stone Cold? Like Stone Cold Steve Austin?" He's like, "Yeah." Freeze, Ice Dagger, Cruel Luke, Cool Cat, and Chili McFreeze were a few of the names that were.
These are
still like Chili McFreeze.
Yeah,
terrible.
You don't like
Chili McFreeze is by far my favorite.
You don't like Cruel Luke? You don't think that's a banger of a name?
I mean, it's all right, but Chili McFreeze, I think, takes the cake.
Cool Luke.
Cruel, not cool Luke.
Cruel.
Like not like Cool Hand. He's cruel though.
But why even Luke in that? Like, is his name Luke? Like, why? That doesn't even rhyme.
So are wrestlers like strippers? They just like have like a stage name, obviously. But like even when they like Steve Austin, is that actually his name?
So his real name is Steve Williams. But when he was coming up, there was already a Steve Williams wrestler, and he was a pretty big deal. So they're like, you got to be with something else. He's like, I'm from Austin. What about Steve Austin? And then somebody goes, hey, what if you were stunning Steve Austin? And like as a joke, like it's a guy in the back of a car, like laying back, and he's like, hey, what are you about? You're stunning Steve Austin. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. And then like 6 months later, he's riding in a car with a different guy. And the guy goes, what makes you so fucking stunning? You're an ugly motherfucker. he's like, you're balding and you ain't that handsome. So how are you stunning? He's like, oh, good question.
Wait, I thought his name was Goldberg, dude.
No, Goldberg and Stone Cold are two different people.
Dude, wait, really?
Yes.
That's so weird. I'm Googling this right now. I'm lost, dude.
Yeah, they're two different people.
They literally have the same exact facial hair, the same, like their face is. It's hard.
There's about like 8 inches and maybe like 40 pounds of muscle difference between the two of them.
I looked at the heights. Oh yeah, one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's a little bigger. Goldberg's a little bigger.
He's got a lot more hair.
Lot more hair on the chest. So Stone Cold basically declines the party invitation, and Mankind comes out, and he's just like, "This is your Rock. Come down. I know I put my sock in your mouth last night, so I'm gonna make it up by throwing you a party. Come on down, Rock." And Purple, you asked me what were the two questions you asked me about the sock?
I asked like where was it? You said it was in his pants, and I was asked, was it a cock sock?
No, it's not. It's just in his pants.
In his pants. I mean, where then?
Probably.
Where,
and then I asked how many eyes it had.
It had 2 eyes.
I was like, it's probably. Oh, it's 2. It's not 1.
I was thinking it was probably 1, but
No. Mankind, Mr. Sacco is a nice, innocent man. How dare y'all turn Mr. Sacco? Look here. I'm gonna give you a picture to you guys, and you are going to understand that this man is a nice, innocent man. All right, nice, innocent man with a sock that has a goatee and everything. Okay, and you're gonna be nice to Mr. Sacco. How dare you guys?
Do I have to be?
Yeah, you do. You do. Look at that.
I can't with this picture. He's like
Oh
He-
my god.
He looks like someone from like freaking what's that movie? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like,
Yeah.
man, he has a
He
sock in
definitely
his
looks
hand.
like a horror movie, like villain.
Yeah.
The sock?
Yeah.
Just the guy.
The mankind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mankind. Yeah.
I can't believe you guys talk so mean about him. Mick Foley. Mick Foley's such a nice
He
man.
looks like Jason's friend or something.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
I need answered.
Go ahead.
It's really bugging me.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead. All right.
Okay, so first of all, why are there so many names? Like why I'm hearing Mr. Sacco, I'm hearing Rock and Sock. There's just a lot of names I don't know, and I hear Mankind. Like who's who? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Mankind was the guy in the mask with the luscious hair.
Yes.
Okay, that's Mankind. The Rock is The Rock. When they
AKA
tagged,
Dwayne Johnson.
correct, aka Dwayne The Rock Johnson as well. Funny enough. And when they with their team together loosely, they were the Rock and Sock connection.
Why?
Because
Mr. Sacco is the
Mr.
sock.
Sacco is the sock that is on Mankind's hand.
Mr.
part of
Mr.
the
Sacco is the sock though. That's
Yes, yes.
what does
Cock
Mr.
sock.
Sock do? The cock sock. What is-
Well,
yeah.
during the day, he's a tax returnist. he's a CPA.
Yeah.
He does. He's working a lot of accounts. It's a pretty good gig. By night, he rests in the pants of Mick Foley until he needs to put the mandible claw on. Now, the mandible claw is when you take your two middle fingers, so your middle finger and your ring finger, and you take your thumb, all right, and you put it in somebody's mouth.
Okay, that sounds like something different, but okay.
Wait, is that this? Wait, hold on. Wait. Are you telling me the too
is this a
sweet
part of the-
thing you do?
No.
Something you're supposed to put
No,
something
no.
in someone's mouth,
No, the two
and
sweet
that's
thing.
what you're doing for everybody.
No,
every time?
no. No, it just involves the same fingers.
What do you mean? Well, the same fingers, the same thing. Yes.
No, it's not the same thing. So here, I'll give you this photo.
Purple. There's a few things you can do with certain like the same fingers on your hand. That are different, right?
Are we about to teach him about the birds?
That's not possible.
No, it is possible. I'm telling you, it absolutely is. No, it's
100%.
so he basically takes the fingers, right, and he shoves them into the mouth.
You're telling me that
Wait,
he does
was this
this
a part
during
of the
these,
bed scene?
No, no. Look, and I'm gonna send you.
like
Look,
in the wrestler's mouth? He just shoves his
Yes.
fingers in his mouth.
yes, there.
That's so unsanitary. That upsets me.
I gave a reference GIF of the mandible claw in our little group chat here.
So this is 100% a used sock.
Oh yeah, he
Like,
reuses
look
it.
at
He
the
washes it.
reaction.
He washes it, but
Yeah, but I mean, like he's worn this on his feet
maybe.
or
Well,
elsewhere.
I don't know. I mean, how many mouths has this been in before? I mean, like it's
How
I mean, the
many?
fact that he-
Let me ask you a question, Purple. How many is too many? At what point, if you were a wrestler and Mick Foley was like, "Hey, Purple, this is X number. You're the X number to get this particular sock. What number would be too much for you?"
None, because it's like it's like you just got a sock with whatever number. You're now number 100. You're now number 200, and before that, you had 200 people's mouths ever inside that sock, and now it's in your mouth.
So okay, so 200 is your limit, or you don't have a limit?
No,
Like,
no,
you can
There
ha-
is no limit. There is no limit.
So, like,
As long as it's
infinite
not my
mouths.
mouth eating the sock, I don't give a crap.
No, but it is going into your mouth. That's what I'm asking. Like, he tells you that this sock tonight is going in your mouth, and X amount of people have already had this sock in their mouth. What is the number that you're like, you know what? I'll buy you a different
That's not
sock.
so bad.
I mean, looking at this gift though, I don't think it would. I really would even have a choice in doing that. Regardless, I think I mean, he's clearly forcing the sock without his consent
This
here.
is a bit of a power game. Yeah, it's a bit of a power game.
Yeah, you can't say no to it. Like you got he's clearly being power game. Like this, the hand on the neck, the shoving down the ground, the complete confusion of like this man just put a sock in my mouth and I don't know how I feel about that.
So, quick question.
Yes.
Like, does this like generally is this like a one-hit KO move?
It is his finisher, yes.
That's a finisher.
So
okay.
so
All right.
it will
I mean,
oftentimes
I'd probably be
finish
done, too.
a match, yeah.
How many I got
yes.
a question actually.
Go on.
So this is one is I already wrote this down actually. Is how many wrestlers develop a kink regarding socks in their mouth after fighting mankind?
That's a good question. I would have to ask, you know what? We're going to tweet. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this clip. We're going to grab this. I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to put it on the Twitter and then we're going to tweet at Mick Foley to ask if he knows of any wrestlers who developed a sock in mouth kink because of working with him during this time.
I think that's a good idea. That's the only way to get accurate data.
Yeah.
Unless we want to send out a poll to all the 60-some-odd-year-olds that used to, participate in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're
I don't know how
actually
we
in their
would contact
50s. Okay, I googled it. Yeah, I googled it.
Yeah. So Mick Foley, if this does get to you, just a general estimate. We don't need specifics. I mean, if you wanted to, you can DM us, and let us know specifics. 90% sure it'll stay off the record. 90% sure. So
just want like a general percentage.
Yeah. Just
I
feel like a number.
Over 50 or under 50.
I feel like it's definitely under 50% have
I don't
developed
know,
a sock in mouth kink.
Like the question is, are they getting knocked out because like of the stench of the sock?
Yeah, what is the
taste
lore
of the
behind
sock,
that?
or is it the enjoyment of the experience?
So it's
right?
not the sock; it's the move. He used to just be.
Yeah, but the sock is key.
What is he doing though? Suffocating them?
I was explaining them. He's giving them the mandible claw.
I understand that, but like, what does that do?
All
To
right.
your, like, what does it do to your body?
So if you do it, it's
This is the non-wrestling stuff. They have like
I believe it's a pressure point. I'm trying to like remember it, but also like I don't know, but it's like a pressure point.
Pressure point
in your mouth.
Right.
In your mouth.
No.
So
Pressure
all right. So Purple, take your middle and your index finger. All right.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Hold them together. Right. So you make like your hand is like your thumb's by itself, your index is by itself, it's your pinky's by yourself, but your two middle are together. All right.
I'm not liking how this looks right now.
Okay. Now take.
I know this move.
Now take those middle fingers and put them in your mouth. Okay, but underneath your tongue. And then push down. Now at the same time.
Okay, that's where it goes. That's where
Yes.
Like,
and then at the same time.
Are you doing this right now, Purple?
I'm trying to do it. Okay.
Okay, and at the same time, take your thumb and push up underneath your like right underneath, right? So like that you could rub your index, your middle, and your ring finger together with your thumb, but your fucking chin is in the way, basically.
The only thing I could think of was from this because I think my fingers in my mouth. This is disgusting. I don't know why I put my fingers actually in my mouth. But what I can tell right now is that from personal experience now, it profusely makes you drool. And I can,
Oh, maybe that's why he got the sock, so he wouldn't get the drool. Like it soaks up the drool.
I believe he did in fact. I believe he did in fact say like that it did like stop the drool. There's two versions of it. He said there's a working version and a shoot version. Now shoot.
What the heck is
okay? So working. Mean? Okay, working or work in wrestling lingo means like,
One that looks cool.
You're working. It's not for real. It's not real. It's to look cool. And what he would do with that is he would make it like the I love you hand, right? So that all that went into your mouth was your knuckles, your second knuckles.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, but it looks like the same. It's basically the same effect, but nobody sees it. There's the shoot one, which is the hole. The fingers go in and they go down the hole. So shoot is like for real. It has a real effect on you.
It has a real effect.
Correct.
So how I mean, all right, let me write this down. All right. Let's see here. I don't
Taking
think I have any
notes.
questions. But
I have a question if we're moving on.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to like where the home ec teacher, or aka the English teacher, I guess, according to WWF.
Their little Sharon says that it's sixth grade.
Yeah.
Sixth grade when it was eighth grade home ec.
Yeah. Okay, so all The Rock wanted to do, like this sad story, right?
Yes.
Ends with The Rock never getting to cook pancakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted to make pancakes the whole time.
And the teacher's excuse for not making pancakes is that she didn't have Aunt Jemima. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As a Canadian, I'm offended for one
Yeah.
because that syrup is garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
Shit,
it is.
right?
Yeah, I'm not even
Yep.
Canadian.
No, I agree.
But for two, like I'm not personally like a huge pancake fan. Like I'm a waffle guy.
They
Mm,
suck.
okay.
Yeah, waffle.
Yeah.
Waffle
Whoa,
boys
come
for
on,
life.
guys. Come on.
I mean, pancakes are okay. Okay.
Relax,
If I
man.
have the choice, I'm getting waffles 100%.
Fair.
I'll tell you what though, he has a point though. The pancakes are more fun to make. Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm a being a
100%.
waffle maker for sure.
Yeah. Like 100%. So, but
You do a
that
little flip
aside-
thing with the pan. You're like,
Yeah,
ah.
you flip them with the pan. Yeah, that's how you know you made them right.
Yeah.
But like, my question is, why would not having Aunt Jemima's prevent you from making pancakes? Because like pancakes are good with like just butter or like peanut butter. Or,
All right,
you
this
know, there's,
fucking
like, lots of
weirdo. This
stuff, right?
fucking weirdo here not eating pancakes with maples. I can't. You have to have maple
Dude,
syrup.
no,
with-
you don't.
Yeah,
have you
no,
ever
you
had
do.
peanut
I
butter?
have never
you ever had
eaten
peanut butter on
with
pancakes?
only butter.
No, have
No,
you ever
there's
had
no
peanut
way.
butter on them? Peanut butter?
That's not enough.
No,
Dude,
no,
so
you
gotta
have,
have,
no.
you gotta have something else.
You gotta
smear
have
peanut
syrup.
butter all over there.
You can
Oh,
smear
yeah.
peanut butter all you want. I'm also smearing some fucking syrup on there.
Nah, man.
I need syrup. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need the wetness with
You
that.
gotta
There's no
moisten
way-
that. You gotta moisten that up.
Well, you
That
just
is
drink a glass
that-
of milk, Purple.
Ugh.
There's no way. There's no way. You're gonna choke on that by eating peanut butter and pancakes.
No,
Yeah.
your pancakes are too thick. You make the thin ones, you slap some peanut butter on there. It's
That's
like a
what-
little peanut butter cookie.
No, those are crepes. This is totally different.
no, I'm not
The
talking
really-
like paper.
Are you talking about the really thin pancakes with the little fruits in them? I love that.
I love those.
I had a
Those are
mess
so
with
good.
them.
Anyway, my point is, you don't need Aunt Jemima's. Okay, like this teacher robbed him of a learning experience just because there was no shitty table syrup available, and that upsets me. So like, is this an American education issue, or like is this like just a shitty teacher?
Well, I got my own comments with this, and I think that The Rock is being a little bitch in home economics and complaining about making pancakes when it and ruined his life over not being able to make pancakes. Like what
Are
is
you-
that?
He's look. Back when I was in like home ec class, not making pancakes or making good food. Like I remember we made cornbread muffins. They bang, but delicious.
Dude, cinnamon rolls. Did we make
Right?
cinnamon rolls?
Great.
Mm.
Yeah, made them
Mm.
too.
I never had that class, by the way. I'm really
But-
jealous.
We also made some bad, just like some pastries that were just bad.
Yeah.
It's like some cheese pastries, and I'm like, I don't want to make cheese pastries. I want to make like pancakes. So I understand. I relate to The Rock in that. I too
Are you that passionate though? Are you that angry?
yes.
But
Did you not hear me when I said when you guys both were like, yeah, pancakes suck like waffle boys? Dude, I'm passionate about my pancakes, bro. We went to
but Grumm, okay,
Yes.
listen, like, okay, when were you as a kid ever upset about eating chocolate chip cookies?
Even they suck.
I've been a couple times. It's a non-zero amount of times, but it's a very few amount
Really?
of times. Yes.
Okay. So most times, like, you're like, yeah, chocolate chip,
Yeah.
hell yeah,
yeah.
right?
Give me some.
Like,
Maybe not hell
chocolate
yeah,
chip
but yeah.
cookies are basically like, it's like the pepperoni pizza of cookies, right? You're never gonna complain about it. It's not the most exciting thing, but it's usually always good, right?
Still pizza.
Yeah.
Still pizza.
Yeah, right. But I mean, there are some pizzas that are still pizza that are like, I don't know. But like pepperoni pizza is like you can't go wrong.
Sure.
Chocolate chip cookies are the same thing, except on the dessert food side, right?
Gotcha,
And
yeah.
The Rock's complaining because they had to make chocolate chip cookies instead of pancakes.
He
I'm
just
like,
he had his mind set on making some fucking pancakes, man. I don't blame him.
Wait.
no.
The alternate was I missed that part. They were supposed to make chocolate chip cookies instead.
So they were making And he wanted to make pancakes all year long. That's all he wanted to make was pancakes, right? And they made cake, they made chocolate chip cookies, they made some like stuff, but never pancakes. And then he was promised on the last day of school that they would make pancakes. And she said, "We don't have Aunt Jemima." Now, Aunt Jemima makes a mix, right? Like there's a mix of it. Like was it just the fact that there was no syrup?
I don't.
I thought it was the syrup.
It's the syrup, but even then, you know, I think I changed my opinion here. She manipulated Brock. You know, that's not. Cool
they do make a pancake mix. They do make a pancake mix.
Yes, but when they say we don't have Aunt Jemima, I mean, you know, damn, actually that's the thing. We don't know it's syrup or if it's pancake mix. Who knows?
Yeah, but
if you're like learning how to cook in home ec,
you probably learned.
It's probably like making the batter, right? Like
yeah,
well, you would learn from scratch.
Yeah, but you need the mix as part of the batter.
No,
but you could still make the pancakes without the syrup. You don't need that.
How are you wait, Citra, how are you making pancakes without pancake mix?
Well, pancake mix is just is the put together components that you need to make pancakes, right? You can also make pancake mix from scratch. Yeah.
How are you making? What are you making it from scratch?
You make it from scratch. Well, because you're in a cooking class.
But this is a cooking class, so you learn to do that. Like you're not going to be learning.
Like
you think I was making cornbread muffins from scratch? You think I was making cornbread muffins? I got a 40-minute class. You think they're going to make me? No.
No, man. They're telling you. There's no. You have to. They have to teach how to make this mix.
I'm telling you right now.
Okay, we're going to math class. Here's a calculator. What's 5 times 8?
Is it
40? I don't need a calculator for that.
Cook pancakes is the question.
It's got to be how to make them. It's got to be.
Yeah, which is why you need the mix. You got to.
No, you don't. You don't have to have.
How long do you? How long?
Take that long. It's just like flour, some like sugar, and like some butter and some freaking milk and shit, and you mix it. It's not difficult to make. It's just the fact that you can buy it from the store, and all you do is add water and maybe like an egg to it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, like, you definitely would learn how to make it from scratch, like 100%. Like when we were in elementary school, we had cooking class that was like optional or whatever, and we got to learn how to make cinnamon rolls, and our fucking the teacher didn't come out with like a bunch like 20 rolls of like Pillsbury cinnamon roll fucking
well, that's a mistake by your teacher then. Like they fucked up.
We made them from scratch.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, you know, it depends on the class. I mean, maybe the teacher's like, you know, we should make things that we enjoy eating.
Yeah, and you got to eat them.
You want to eat it. No.
How long do you take? How long?
Cooking.
Okay, how long do you need to eat pancakes? Realistically, like I can
eat the whole pancake in one bite. Like, so I mean, not very long.
I know, but I'm saying like the average like think what was it 6th grade? So the average like 13-year-old.
Dude, kids are inhaling food.
Correct.
Right?
Like, so how long do you?
Yeah, how long do you need? Starving as a kid.
Like. What, 10 minutes maybe?
Not even.
Okay, but you want to
eat like a couple of because they're not making like a dinner or like a
no, but they're making they're probably making themselves like a couple pancakes, right?
There is no way it takes 40 minutes to make more than like
it's not like just taking 40 to make. You gotta make, eat, and clean up. How long do you think those sticky ass hands are gonna take to fucking clean a pan?
You know what? All right. There are you know they're in middle school or wherever the hell, and they're little shits. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying she 100% was talking about pancake mix, not maple syrup.
I can't imagine, man.
Also,
I don't know.
Can we talk about how unprepared of a teacher she is?
So I still blame the teacher.
Yeah.
Like that was where I came from. I'm like, you know, like even if it's mix or the syrup, it doesn't matter because either way, it's like if this kid like was excited about making pancakes, that's gonna make him like your class and take it seriously or whatever.
It's the last day of school, and you promised this all year. All you had to do was just this.
Yeah,
you could have.
That's it.
She could have used buy a mix for $2 and just give it to him just to make his entire life experience the best of
the worst,
times.
Right? And then you think it gets better, right? Like okay. his home ec teacher kind of sucked. All right. Well, who's next, right? Who comes out but his high school coach, football coach? Everybody knows The Rock went to Miami and was like Dwayne Johnson and all state and shit like that. So it's not like they're breaking anybody's immersion. He's just The Rock. And their coach comes out. He apparently DDT'd a quarterback in the middle of the field.
What is that? I don't know. I don't watch football. So like, what is that?
It's not a football move. It's a wrestling move. He basically grabs him by the head, like he puts him in a headlock, and then just falls back.
Wait. Who did that? The Rock.
The Rock did that to the opposing team's quarterback.
And so everyone's upset that the coach made him like run.
The coach, yeah, he's upset that the coach is like, hey, you can't be doing that to kids. Run laps. And he's like, you made me do that in front of people. I'm on the coach's side. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that's messed up, dude.
You can't drop a kid. That kid's got enough, like, football causes enough concussions and head trauma. We don't need to add more,
Yeah.
You don't need emotional trauma as well.
Getting fucking bodied by, it's bad enough he had to go up against a fucking D1 defensive lineman. Then you got to end up getting fucking DDT'd. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I had a question about that because I don't know a lot about football. What's DDT?
DDT, I was saying, it's not a football move. It's a wrestling move.
Wrestling.
So basically, you put somebody in a headlock. I was
like not paying attention. I guess.
So you put somebody in a headlock, but like they're facing your back, right? So like if we were looking eye to eye, and I kick you in the stomach, and you bend over, I grab your head and I put in a headlock, and I just fall back. So driving your head into the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess sure, maybe if you got a helmet that changes it a little bit, but like, man, concussions are mean, man.
Yeah,
I never had one, but there was my dad. He was running. We had a basketball hoop in our street, and he ran to catch like a football or some shit. I don't know. I remember, but he ran straight in there. And you just hear the ding of his head. It was a ring. It was a freaking ring of this metal hitting. And my neighbor came out. And it was a whole thing. But yeah, it was bad. But yeah, they're no good, dude. But thinking back, it was like my stupid dad doing stupid things. Like he always gets hurt. He broke his hip going off a speed bump on his bicycle.
Fucking apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Eh? Purple wakes up with a split open toe.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
we had to delay the start of this recording because Purple was like, "Oh, by the way, I took my foot out of my shoe and I ripped open the cut that I had on it." And then he proceeds to tell us how he got the cut in the first place, and it just makes sense.
I don't even know how it happened. I don't even know what it stepped on. I mean, maybe I don't. Who knows? Who knows, man?
So, after the head coach comes out and gets told to take his whistle, or the Rock was going to take his whistle, shine it up real nice, turn that sumbitch sideways, and shove it up his candy ass. Basically, this was also that he could just get off every one of his like one-liners, which is great. Yeah, great excuse. Afterwards comes his high school sweetheart, who The Rock was explaining an intimate scene, much to the delight of the announcers, Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. They were having a blast listening to this tale about how Rock got thrown out at second base. For those of you who may not know what second base is, I pity you. I really do.
I actually don't know what that is.
Get Purple to describe it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Purple, Purple, given the context clues that The Rock gave, what do you think second base is? He said he had his hand. He was inching his hand up her leg.
I think it's
I have a perfect way to describe it.
It's a trick question, but I think I can figure this out. What do you want? It's a trick. Go ahead.
Okay, so you know like the sock puppet move?
Yeah.
Okay, you take the sock off, and it's not in the mouth.
Yeah, I told you I know that move, but I don't get it though.
That's second base, purple.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's what he got thrown out at second base, even though she said go for second. Which, again, she got every right to be like, you know what? No. But
Does The
like,
Rock have abandonment issues or like like after this? Because yeah, that's frustrating for sure. It's
yeah, like it's the '90s. They definitely made it like very misogynistic. The way he talked to the home ec teacher.
Yeah.
And then also to imply that his high school sweetheart was only there to offer up her poontang pie to him.
Yeah.
And how much he loves pie.
what type of pie?
Poontang.
What flavor is that?
I
Have
guess
you ever heard of the Limp Bizkit song?
Wait, they don't see it's what's that song? The Limp Bizkit. What's that?
Well, you had to do the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavor water.
Yeah.
Wait, is that where the hot dog water came from? I never knew that's the thing.
I think so, for the most part. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a big Limp Bizkit fan. I mean, I know Rolling. That's about it.
Yeah, roll the roll.
It's such a terrible song, but
keep rolling.
When you're like 10 or 90 years old, dude, like hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Look, that was
Offspring.
all in WWE. Like Fred Durst, like probably
of course.
Fred Durst is probably going to be a Celebrity Hall of Fame inductee to WWE.
That would not surprise me.
No. Him and his backwards red hat.
The Nookie. That's what I was thinking of. The Nookie.
The Nookie. I did it all for the Nookie.
Though.
I mean,
what is that?
The Nookie and the pie are the same thing. It's just different term.
Yeah.
Again, like, I can't continue.
I'm like sitting here like this is a good bit where Purple's like, I just don't know anything about sex.
I feel like he's playing this up a little bit.
He's like, me knowing sex, things with sex, me? No. I'm nope, Mr. What is it? Mr. Pure Mr. Chastity. It's just Purple's like
that describes Purple to it too.
Yeah, no, 100%. The purest person I know.
Yep.
Except when he messages me about parties that involve pants and stuff. Anyways, so
DMs are. Listen, man, I've been working out, dude. But how do I? What the heck, dude? This other thing is not. It's not. Why is this one muscle not getting bigger?
Everything else is getting bigger.
Everything else is getting bigger, but not this. That's not how that works. I wrapped a weight to it. That's definitely not how that works. So after he tells his high school sweetheart to poontang her ass out of there, to which she does. And everybody gets a hearty laugh at. Mankind, the whole time, by the way, Mick Foley is stealing all this entire thing because he is introducing these people and he's excited for them and he's on their side. And as soon as The Rock tells the story, he is immediately on The Rock's side.
Yeah.
He's like, he talked about the coach made him run. He goes, get out of here, you jerk. Like, take your jerk pants and leave. Like, and the whole time he's doing the thumbs up. Like, every time he's like, yeah. He's got this big ass book where he's just like, looks like he's reading it, but not reading it. And he's got the goofiest smile on his face. It's great stuff. But then he gets the rock and sock jackets, to which Mick Foley puts his on and looks like a security guard immediately. It's very odd, an odd look.
Definitely.
Yeah. What was?
Yes.
Okay, so these are my follow-up questions. It's like, how the hell was this like the most viewed like scene of whatever this was? Like, you mentioned something that you said it was
the highest rated segment in all of wrestling history.
Why do you think? Like, why do you think that? Because the happy birthday stuff. I feel
like there's. I actually have a comment on just the whole segment as a, just generally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, they're putting on a show and The Rock's pissed and all this stuff. But really, what they actually did a really good job at is they're showcasing The Rock's character and giving you depth into his story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they actually did a really good job at it, even though it was goofy and kind of like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they kind of
totally.
give you that story, right? Like, it's almost like if we were to do something like that in role play, it would be that goofy. It would be that like stupid. But at the same time, like I feel like they actually did a really good job at kind of doing that, right? So it's like, I don't know, even like take it for face value, especially not as a wrestling fan. Like if I were watching that and not really thinking about it, I'd be like, oh my God. Right.
Yeah.
But you've got all these fans that are really interested in The Rock's character. And then, they basically just kind of take you down memory lane with The Rock. Right. They present it as, oh, this is going to be a good thing. And then it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But still you learn about his character. Right. And I thought that was kind of cool. Even though, like, I don't know, just like it's very dramatic.
Yes.
Like how they do things in wrestling just generally. So I think that's why it's a little bit kind of cringe. But
absolutely.
That's part of the experience.
The funniest part to me was, so before every guest, Mick Foley is basically like, hey, play that voice so that like The Rock can hear it. And for his high school sweetheart, she's, Dwayne, let me run my fingers through your hair one more time. Which
Yeah.
He doesn't really have that much.
Yeah.
he really didn't. He just had a normal head of hair, like a normal like fade. Like, like when he was a kid, when he was younger, he probably had longer hair so that it worked more. But like, it is hilarious to me that like that was supposed to be him going, "Oh my God, it's so and so." like that's what it is. Like that's what's supposed to trigger the emotion and the memory. Like, I probably would not remember if somebody from my high school were like, hey Grumm, let me run my fingers through your hair one more time. I'd be like, who the fuck is that? Right? Like the home ec teacher, sure. The coach, absolutely. I have PTSD from hearing my coach. So it's just one of these things of it's just very weird of a choice to like I would have done something like, Dwayne, do you remember the time that we were at, Lover's Lookout? Like something like that, where you'd be like, oh, yeah. I know who that is. Like, oh, it's Samantha. God, yeah, I do remember. But it's just, oh my God, it's so wild. So to answer your question, Purple, as to why I think it was so well regarded and highly watched. You have, this is 1999. This is the peak of the Attitude Era where wrestling could do no wrong with wrestling, because you had Stone Cold, you had The Rock, you had Mankind, you had The Undertaker, you had D-Generation X, you had and like on the other side on WCW you had NWO, you had Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, you had Scott Hall, you had Kevin Nash, you had Goldberg, you had Sting, you had all these cool, like wrestling was just cool. It was accepted.
Sting, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
They did have really cool characters.
So
Yeah.
Like like you mentioning the Undertaker, Grumm, like just kind of was like, for me, I was like, oh yeah, the Undertaker, I remember him like from the game. Yeah.
Like, so it's cool to like wrestling. So you're already at probably, I think they got like 9.6 like segment rate, like viewers or whatever, like a segment was the rating, which is like back then probably something like 8 or 9 million. I think it might be 10 million people, give or take. But you have like 10 million people watching wrestling, and they're all watching this one segment because it involves The Rock, it involves Mankind, who people enjoy. It is, it's based in like the night before, Mankind put his sock in the mouth of The Rock and cost them a match. And this is Mick Foley trying to make up for it. So people are like, oh, I want to see how does he make up to it? Like, how does he make this up to him? And as the segment goes, you're like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, this is funny. Like, this is funny. The Rock is roasting people. It basically, like I said, it was an excuse for The Rock to just be mean and roast people for it. like existing and being either rationally disappointing to him or irrationally disappointing to him. And like out of the 3 people, like the home ec teacher fucked up. Like how do you not prepare your class properly? But like the coach was right. Like you can't DDT somebody, and his girlfriend has every right to be like, you know what? No, I'll throw you out at second. So I like, and he gives the jacket. He gives the Mr. Rocco, which is just a sock with the Rock's face on it. And so now the Rock has a cock sock. And I feel like there's a Dr. Seuss bit there. But
The Rock cocksock?
The Rock cocksock, yeah. I will not rock my cocksock, Rock. I will not, cannot rock my rock cocksock, Rock.
So do you think they intended for this event to be this big?
No. Like I said, they originally intended up being like 8 minutes, and it just kept rolling. Because
I mean, like popularity wise, like do you think that the whole betrayal thing the night before was just to amp up for this?
No.
Or do you think that no? Okay.
No, I don't think they intended it to be so such a hit. Like when you put good, all right, so like we do Grand Theft Auto roleplay. When you see a scene with 2 people you can rely on, you go, oh, this is gonna be good no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, this is a bad idea, but these 2 guys or these 3 people, they're gonna figure it the fuck out and make the most of it. So I think with them, they're just like, we'll just give them the time. And while they're watching it, they're watching like the crowd just be entirely in it and entertained, because they're supposed to send Triple H down with a sledgehammer, and he doesn't come out until the very end when The Rock is like, all right, look here. You know what? I'm sick and tired of this shit that you wasted The Rock's time. I got a big match and this, and then, Triple H comes down, with a thing at the end. But before that, Yurple the Clown, shout out Yurple the Clown, for making another appearance on WWE television. She made one year before.
There's a previous one of Yurple?
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't a first time thing.
This is not the first time Yurple the Clown has shown up.
It makes way more sense.
Yurple the Clown showed up when Mankind, in trying to befriend Vince McMahon, who was in surgery or was in the hospital, brought Yurple the Clown and Mr. Sacco. So the birth of Mr. Sacco was, he's like, I brought you a friend, and he's like, hey, Vince McMahon, it's me, Mr. Sacco. And he's just like, and he brought Yurple the Clown, who is Yurple the Clown, adorable. And they just sing. My favorite line was, why do you think it's not The Rock's birthday? Why do you think it's Rock's birthday? And he's like, well, when I hang out with you, it makes me feel like every day is my birthday. And like, you both got up to go get like a drink. Purple was cackling, and it got picked up of him just cackling at this fucking dumb bit where he's like, I feel every day feels like my birthday when I'm hanging out with you, and then that's when Triple H comes in and ruins it.
Stupid.
But yeah, it's one of those segments that they've tried to recreate it a couple times, but they missed the reason why it was so good the first time. They've done it where Mick Foley does it, This Is Your Life, for somebody else. They tried to do it with John Cena, and it didn't work because it wasn't organic. And then they tried to do it.
At that point, it's a gimmick, right?
Yeah. Then they tried to do it again a couple years ago with 2 female wrestlers, where one was trying to, embarrass the bad girl, bad female, the bad guy, the bad girl was trying to embarrass the good girl. And be like, this is your life. Oh, look, you've always been a nerd. And it's like, that doesn't work. Like,
yeah,
we already know she's a nerd. Like, it doesn't work nowadays because everything is so exposed with wrestling. It's overexposed to a point that, like,
well, I think you can take that and relate that to I guess like role play for us, right? Like, once, like, the first time something, like a bit or whatever happens like organically, it's the best time that you're gonna have for that bit. Recreating it again you might have better, like, better plans and better like production quality or whatever. You might have the the right people or whatever, but it's still never as good as the first time you do it, because it just happens organically, right?
Yep.
And I imagine the same thing is similar. They're just like, man, this is a cash cow for us, probably,
Yeah.
right? Like, man, this is good,
It's
and
very,
then they want to do it.
it's very similar. Like there's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, they would try to figure out something for him to basically drive every week. He drove a monster truck one week. He drove a cement truck 1 week. He drove a crane 1 week. He drove a Zamboni 1 week. He drove a beer truck 1 week. All like just it's like basically what can we make Stone Cold drive? Because he's going to make it work. And they would try that again where like, oh, this person drove this into the building or this, and they never quite hit the same.
Because it's his bit.
It's his bit. However, when they fully remixed it and Kurt Angle drove a milk truck in to ruin Stone Cold ceremony, like a ceremony for Stone Cold, it was electric. It was great because everything worked. You had good performers and you had a remix of the idea, and you're like, oh my God, this is great. Instead of beer, it's milk, and it's Austin getting it now, karma, ha 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 ha. So I think like this is one of the ones where I, as a segment, it's fun to look back at because it only worked in that moment, that night, with those people, and it would have never worked with anybody else. You couldn't have done that with like Mankind and Stone Cold. You couldn't have done that with like The Undertaker. You couldn't have done that with really anybody. It had to be charming, and nobody is more charming as a wrestler than Mick Foley, and it had to be sarcastic roasting, and nobody did that better than The Rock.
I think the only way you make that bit work again, like in a remix, is if you actually make fun of the bit itself, right? Like you almost need to. It would have to be like The Rock doing it to Mick Foley or something, right?
Yeah,
and making fun of him for doing the bit as a part of the bit.
Yeah, like
that would be the only way you could remix that.
Do you remember when you brought Yerpel to my This Is Your Life?
Yeah.
No one wanted Yerpel at my life. Nobody wanted Yerpel then. So I think it's one of those funny ones, and like for wrestling, it holds a place in the pantheon of like you had to be there, and otherwise it doesn't work. Like other people have like fallen off of a Hell in a Cell, but Mick Foley falling off a Hell in a Cell is different because it was the first time, but also it was so violent. Like other people have fallen off, he was thrown off. And it's just one of the things of like, as a wrestling fan, I get to show it to you guys who aren't really wrestling fans, and you guys the whole time are just going, why is this what's going to happen next? And that's kind of the point of how it became the highest rated segment, is because people started going, what is happening next, and calling their friends, going, because it's 1999, so you get on your landline, yell at your older brother, your younger sister, your mom, get off the internet, I need to call my friend. And you go, hey, Citra, yeah, Purple, hey, turn on Raw. I don't know what's going on. But I can't be the only one who watches this. And then, extrapolate that to about 5 million people calling 5 other million people, and you have yourself your highest rated segment of all time.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
I think it makes sense though, like, especially with the lead up to it, right? Mm-hmm. Where, like as a fan, you'd be following the stories already, and following what had happened before. And then this is the aftermath, right?
Yep.
Like, I can see that being very interesting.
And like I don't know, Purple, I don't know if you have more questions, because I know you were writing down questions, and knowing you have a lot of questions. But
yes,
like there's also history between The Rock and Mankind, where Mankind beat The Rock for the world title in December of 98, lost the world championship back to The Rock in January when he took 14 steel chair shots to the face, unprotected, with his hands cuffed behind his back. And then he beat him again for the title in an empty arena match during the halftime of the Super Bowl, and then lost it like 2 weeks later. So there's history between them, and that's why it works so much. But hit me with another question there, Purple.
Why are there so many wrestlers that have really long hair? Do I have could I be a wrestler?
You could be a wrestler, yes. You absolutely could, bud.
Yeah, put in like 50 more pounds probably.
Nowadays, maybe only 15. You should be all right.
Seriously?
Yeah, what are you at right now? 180?
Like 170.
Perfect. Put on another 20 pounds. You're at 195. They can lie and say and then you can wrestle cruiserweights and stuff like that. You'd be good.
Okay.
You'd be good. Yeah. But why do wrestlers have long hair?
Yeah. Like Undertaker. Like
there's actually a functionality reason for it too. One, it's cheaper to not get your hair cut. Two, which a lot of wrestlers were cheaper back in the day. But the functionality of it is, back in the day, wrestlers would call their spots in the ring to basically be like, hey, throw me into the corner, or hey, body slam, or hey, elbow. And to not, like, it wasn't enough to say it, like, soft enough to not be heard, because people are like, what is he saying to him? Hey, did he just say elbow? And especially when wrestling got onto television. So basically, the spot would be, you would grab the guy, and you'd have your hair in front of your mouth, right? And you couldn't see what your mouth was saying, so that you could say to the guy, like, hey, throw me in the corner, come out, clothesline me. And you could then whip the guy into the corner, he'll come out and clothesline you because you called the spot. So that's the functionality of having long hair. It blocks your mouth from being seen by the television camera or people in the front row.
Oh.
Yeah.
That goes way deep. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, a lot deeper than you thought. You're like sitting here like,
so
oh,
it's basically it's a curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a functionality. Plus, a lot of them also liked having long hair because it was one of the, like, you got to think about it, right? In the 80s and 90s, long hair wasn't really allowed on guys in, like, corporate settings.
It's like it makes them seem like eccentric or unusual.
Well, also think about it.
The character.
It's kind of faux pas, right?
Yeah, it's also weird in that, like, when you think of He-Man or Conan the Barbarian back in those days, the idea of a physically strong Superman, they had long hair. So the idea of, like, these are larger than life people, and how do you do that? Well, all right, my hair is, you don't see this kind of hair. Mm-hmm. How can you, because everything about wrestling is about standing out and connecting with the crowd. So you see Mick Foley and you go, wow, his hair's luscious. Also, why is he wearing that weird mask on his face? Like, you know, because otherwise he's just a fat guy with long hair and a beard.
All right. Keep hair long.
Yeah, there you go.
20 pounds. There.
Add 20 pounds.
25 just to be safe there.
25, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
Eat some more of those chimichangas.
The microwave chimichangas.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good.
But yeah, like, wrestlers, they want to be, the whole idea is to stand out. You want the airport factor, which is and I've talked about this on other episodes. But when somebody who isn't a wrestler sees you in the airport, they go, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah. Because
you see a big ass motherfucker, you're like, "Whoa, who the fuck is that?" Or you see like an incredibly handsome person, you're like, "Who the fuck is that?" Or somebody who is just radiating this charisma that makes you go, "Do I know them from somewhere?" And, like, Mick Foley blends in when he's not wearing a mask, but he also isn't because he's missing some teeth. He's missing part of his ear. His nose is a little crooked. So eventually you go, especially in the 90s, you're like, wait, that's that's Mankind. Holy shit. Right? Nowadays, most wrestlers, they don't really blend in per se because you're still a wrestler. And you're still on television.
But they're not quite as, like,
over the top,
noteworthy in public, right? Like, they're
also not as physically big as they used to be. Like,
Oh, really? They've downscaled that a little bit, like physically.
yeah. So a lot of wrestlers right now, like, there's still wrestlers who are beefy. They're, what I borrow from Big E, big meaty men. There are most certainly big meaty men slapping meat. Drew McIntyre is 6'8", 265, I think, 275 maybe.
Ooh.
In ridiculous shape. Bobby Lashley, 6'6", 275 of chiseled stone. You got Roman Reigns, who's 6'4", 265. Big E's like 5'11", 295 of just muscle. There's a lot of big dudes, but there's also not big dudes. Like Seth Rollins is like 6'2", and about like maybe 225, 230. You've got guys like Adam Cole, who's like 5'9", 190 pounds. You got Kyle O'Reilly, who's like 6, maybe not even 6, maybe like 5'10", 5'11", 195 pounds. There's room now for truly athletic people to get over as wrestlers.
We gotta get
They
higher in
just
the
have
ring.
to.
Yeah.
They just have to like.
Most importantly, you have to connect with the audience.
Yeah.
You have to also be able to physically do the things that,
Oh,
that are going to be required of you. Like,
absolutely.
By all means. Yeah,
you have
it was
to.
a big.
You have to run the ropes and go like maybe at nightly 15-minute matches where you fall down.
That's the thing, like that I never got when people would be like, "Oh, wrestling's so fake and blah blah blah." These guys aren't athletes. Like, no, dude, these guys still do a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
for sure.
and sometimes it's probably even harder to pull off these moves without hurting people. Like that's gonna be
Absolutely.
difficult sometimes, right? Especially the more dramatic ones. Like, that takes a lot of precision and athleticism to pull off.
Yeah, and like not enough. And going back to like your dad going like, that's fake. Like, yeah, no, like it's not fake. It's scripted. Like they're not really fighting. They are doing action movie scenes where they're fighting. But like the emotion is real. Like you watching that as a kid or me watching it now and just going like being entranced by the story of a match of like, holy shit, look at these guys just beating the ever living shit out of each other just to win a match. That it's not for a title, it's just to win a match. And like, wow, that's great. Like the story they're telling or like Roman Reigns nowadays is a sociopath. Like he is a pathological liar who is manipulating his family so that he can remain on top of the WWE. And he's also punishing people physically for challenging him. It is some of the most entertaining stuff that I've seen in a couple years. Because I am just sitting down and going, I'm suspending my disbelief, and I'm going, hey, all right, cool. What I'm being shown, you know what? It's real. Sure, I know it's not real, but I'm going to trick my brain into being like, this is real.
It's like watching a show, right? It's like watching a series. Like, that shit's not real, but you're still invested as if it kind of is, right? Like these characters become real to you. Like, I've been watching Lucifer recently, right? And just getting invested in that show.
I finished that recently.
Dude,
finally,
yeah, it's good, right?
I don't know. I feel like it's really cheesy and stuff.
There are cheesy
if you take it at that value, it's enjoyable.
It's made by the guy who made CSI. Okay, so
I did not know that.
Yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer or whatever his name is.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, but it's something about I enjoy it as a show to like. I watch it because I'm kind of bored.
It's something a little bit different, but kind of not. Like it's just on that edge of, and then they throw the supernatural stuff in,
yeah,
right?
Detective.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, like it's that's the same kind of idea, right? You get invested in that stuff, even though it's like clearly it could never be real, or maybe, but like
like are these guys actually fighting? No, but they're actually throwing each other. They're actually falling on their back and compressing their spine over and over again.
Yeah, it's live TV. I mean, it's not like it's a movie where you have people doing stunts or they have a protective stuff or whatever.
Like right now, like the last year or so, they have because there's no fans, right? They're not doing in-person attendance, so you can reshoot some things because all right, cool. Like, let's get this angle where they throw them and we'll have a crash pad over here so that this stunt's safer, but it pays off more in the illusion of, wow, this person is fucking legit.
So as a viewer, how
Yeah.
has that changed your experience?
I personally have very much enjoyed it because
Yeah?
I
Okay.
hate fans. I find fans will, it's some of the reason why I don't really like live music, because the idea of my experience being interrupted by somebody else, most of the time their displeasure, like maybe not live music, not as much, but like I'll tell a story related. I went to watch Dark Knight when it came out in 2008, and in the scene where Jim Gordon is revealed not to actually be dead, and they faked his death, and they got the Joker.
Whoa! Spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah.
Spoiler of a
Spoilers,
13-year-old movie. Yeah, multiple groups of people in the theater got up and stood and cheered in the middle of a movie.
Yeah.
And I hated that.
Like people clapping for the pilot on the airplane.
Like, this motherfucker, Gary Oldman's not here. He don't give a fuck. Christopher Nolan doesn't care if you clapped. Sit the fuck down and shut up. But like in wrestling, like a crowd participation, there's a lot of it. But good crowd.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was going to bring
good
up. Good
crowd participation, like the crowd that we watched with this segment, where they are invested fully in the characters and they're having a good time, and they paid, and they paid to be there. They're having a good time. They're great. They're a part of the show. Cool.
Because I was going to say, like, for me, like, you know, I haven't been to a concert in a while, but when I was younger, I used to go to quite a few. And, you know, as far as like, you know, going to watch the musician, you know, kind of really unique and really cool experience. Like, I don't want to go and watch them play an album, right?
Mhm.
I want to go and experience, you know, that live music feel, right?
Yep.
And a
Yeah.
big part of that is like the crowd involvement and
Mhm.
like, you know, having the crowd sing along a song, as cliche as that sounds, right? Like, yeah, watching that after the fact is kind of but when you're there, it's way different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
I've been to quite a few concerts, and I still go to them and stuff. It's just a matter of like, I can't do it now, but it's like you have this connection with people where you like, I don't know who this person is next to me, but like
Mhm.
we could be best buds in a matter
Yeah.
of seconds.
Yep, 100%.
Like,
It's really
And that
cool.
would happen multiple times throughout the night, depending on where you are in the in you know the crowd and stuff, whether it's in the pit or whatever it is. There's something very special to say about that.
100%. And like I feel like, you know, Grumm, maybe not watching live wrestling, but like if you were there, maybe that would be
So I have a funny
Yeah.
story. So I was going to get to it because my issue with it lately has become, fans have become so aware that they're actually a part of the show that they will actively try to become the show.
Like
Okay.
how? Like what? Like,
All right,
what do you
so
mean?
for example, after WrestleMania, the biggest event for WWE every year, there's the Raw after Mania, which is often populated with a large group of very intelligent, or very smart to the product wrestling fans from international, where different practices and as far as a crowd are acceptable. However, most of these people actively don't like the wrestling that they're watching, and will instead use that time that they have on camera to become part of the show. To the point
Right.
where they will blow up a beach ball and bounce it around the thing like it's a concert, right? Like it's a summer festival, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's live theater. It's action theater. It is the intersection of Shakespearean storytelling and Hollywood action scenes. And people will be throwing beach balls around and doing that, to the point where one wrestler literally got out of the ring, sprinted to the beach ball, ripped it up, and fucking slammed it to the ground, and went back into the ring and proceeded to whoop more ass. And it was
awesome.
which is a
Love
great
that.
scene that only happened because of the beach ball, but it's still insulting that this match, which includes 3 people that these type of fans really enjoy and root for, are being subjected to having to fight for attention with a fucking beach ball.
Yeah.
Like, it's insulting. Now, I say this because as a story, I try to go to every show that comes into the Philadelphia area for WWE.
Did you bring a beach ball?
No. This was the year after the beach ball incident. And this is the last Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. And they have the show. They have Roman Reigns, who at the time is being kind of forced upon the audience, but he is over with the main audience that they want, which is children and women, and he's big with them because he looks like Jason Momoa, and he's a superhero. Like, he's that guy. So kids love him, girls love him, dudes hate him because he is being forced upon them, not because their girlfriends like him. No, that would make more sense.
Of course.
No, but because these schmucks, these punk ass fans, think that they know what to do better, and because they just don't like the guy. So because of that, they're going to just shit on everything else. They'll say, "Oh, I like this guy," but when he's on the TV or he's in the ring, and they'll go boo because he's in the ring with somebody else. So you really don't like him then, because if you did like him, you wouldn't be booing. And they're like, no, I do like this guy. I just don't want him to be working with this guy. No, that's not that. You can't have that. Like, you shut up. If you don't enjoy it, leave. Don't buy a ticket to boo. That makes no fucking sense because they just care about your money. So anyways, Roman Reigns is in the ring. He's talking about fighting The Undertaker and sending Undertaker home for the final time and beating him at WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. And this kid is in front of me, and he is actively having a good time cheering for Roman Reigns. And I hear this dirty neck-bearded fuck and his buddy shout, "Shut the fuck up, you dumb kid. Roman fucking sucks."
Oh, my God.
So I turn around, and I stand up, and I tell the guys, "Hey, go the fuck home if you have a problem with him. That's a kid. You don't talk to a kid like that. Act right or get right."
I mean,
right?
That's not a wrestling only thing.
It's not.
That's a problem. I mean,
it's not, but it's prevalent in wrestling where it's to the point where these,
because you have that machismo type thing too, right?
Because it's a wrestling. I'm important because I paid a ticket, and it's a very funny social or parasocial relationship with the entertainer and the fan, because the entertainer has made the fan a part of the show. So the fan thinks they're more important than they actually are.
That's true too.
And he wanted, and this guy did not want, him and his friend did not want this smoke, and they sat the fuck down and they shut up for the rest of the show. Didn't hear a peep from him ever again.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think I feel like a lot of people don't, people like that don't think back to when they were that kid.
Correct.
Right? Like, you have to remember when you were that kid, like what was important to you, and what you appreciated about that experience, right? And like I feel like a lot of people don't think about that when they get annoyed with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, why you tell me it was fake, dude? Why
that's the thing, right?
Exactly. Kind of rounding it back.
And here's the thing: your dad might have liked wrestling, right, as a kid, and somebody told him it was fake, and thus it made everything about what he enjoyed not real, right? Like when you find
that's not what happened. But...
no, but
it could have been.
It could have been. But like some people, like it's going back to the whole like Santa Claus is definitely real. People will lie and say that Santa Claus is not real, right? And if you come to believe that for whatever reason, you're wrong. Santa Claus is 100% real. We believe in Santa Claus on this podcast, right? Yes,
100%.
100%. But if somebody were to try to convince you and do a good job of convincing you that Santa Claus is not real, you would then look not so fondly on the idea of Santa Claus being real as a child, and thus feel lied to.
I just tell him, fuck him.
Yeah, but you can't as a 6-year-old. You can't tell. Like no kid, like that kid. At that show.
What do you mean? No,
the kid.
Of course they can. I mean,
the kid
can or shouldn't.
What?
No.
Yeah, because I mean, imagine a 6-year-old saying,
"Fuck you."
I'd be like, "Oh shit, I can't handle this kid.
Yeah,
he knows. He knows.
Yeah, but like that's a confident ass kid. Like that's a special kind of kid. That's gonna be a little purple. That's little purple gonna be like fuck him. We're talking about like Perpito.
I was the exact opposite of that.
Perpito.
Porpito.
Come here, Porpito. Fuck him. What do we say to mean people, Porpito? Fuck him. That's right.
Yeah, my kid said the F word, and I don't know what to do about it.
Uncle Grumm and Uncle Citra are just sitting there teaching little Perpito.
Yep. Here's what your daddy would do.
Here's what your dad don't. Your dad would say, "Turn the other cheek." Your dad lies. He says, "Turn the other cheek."
That's not actually what he would do.
You tell them, "Fuck them," and then you walk.
Yep.
Then you turn. Then that's when you that's when you turn your cheek. But when you turn your cheek, you show your ass. You tell them to suck it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, we would be terrible influences on this imaginary child.
Absolutely horrible.
Probably doing his best to not have it be like I'm gonna raise my kid to be good. He's gonna be well behaved and not a nuisance. He's gonna be good. Meanwhile, everybody, come here, Pepito. Say this. Say this. Run on. Dad's streaming. Run into his room and say fuck him.
Go tell your mom that food tastes like shit.
Say Dad's smoked meats are better.
the ones that really hurt, stab your heart.
Your cooking's not good, Dad. I'd rather eat Dad's smoked meat.
Oh gosh.
Oh jeez, but yeah,
or even better, go tell your dad that the smoke ring isn't big enough.
Oh gosh,
these are too dry. These ribs are too dry, Dad.
Yeah.
I hope one day. I hope if I do have a kid, which it's a if type of thing. But if I whoever it was I had a kid with, they would just try to mess with me at times, because it's so like those laughs, like yeah, sure, it hurts a little bit, but god damn it, is it freaking funny.
Yeah,
it's all about the story, right?
Yeah. It's just like pro wrestling. It's all about the story.
Yeah, there
Bang,
you go.
Look at that. See, I'm a good host.
Round it back.
Bring it back, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So before we get going here, any last questions or comments about the "This Is Your Life" segment that we watched?
I'm confused still, but you know what? It's weird because I feel like I can also relate to it. It's weird. It's not the same thing as it's role play, but I feel like I've done things to in characters that I've made in GTA role play and stuff where, I pushed the things in character and made the other character or the person, it made the character upset. The other person I'm playing with, not the actual person, but the character. And I have gone to extreme lengths to rectify those things in the story and stuff. And I found the whole taking a step back and looking at it from someone that just is just watching this scene and stuff. I have definitely, I don't know, I just relate to it. The fact that it's so absurd yet so good at the same time. I feel like there could be better moments though, and in the world of wrestling, as far as viewership, that would be more entertaining to watch. But I also get that this is so absolutely absurd that it was the top most viewed shenanigans of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watched on television, not YouTube wise, on television.
Yeah, television live, which is a big deal. It's a big deal.
I just Purple, as far as that goes, I just try to think back into role play and that moment in role play would be a special moment, right? I think that the day after some sort of controversial thing happened, and then let's just use Wimley Boyles as an example because it's an easy one and we're here.
Yeah.
Let's say Boyles fucked over Wimley really bad one day, and then the next day you and I both go live as Wimley and Boyles. People are gonna be like, okay, what's gonna happen today? and would tune in to watch that, right? I think that that to me is probably a big factor as to why that was so so watched. And then that would be kind of an interesting moment, especially because I like, you talk about you've been in role playing, you've definitely done kind of similar things as to
the ultimate betrayal,
that scene,
dude.
right? Yeah, that betrayal, and then trying to make up for it, right? And like I feel like that's such a Boyle's thing to do. That the second I started watching the scene, I'm like, oh my god, this like Purple could play this character, right? Like this masked guy, and I just think that would be, it would be a kind of classic moment, But I think back to like early 2020 or something, right, or whatever. Yeah. And I could see that being like a classic moment that we would look back on being like, oh my god, that was fucking hilarious, right?
It's so good because like they're trying so like they went through all this effort to like basically repair the damage that they did from the previous. It could be literally one night beforehand, and but everything that Mankind does completely like just backfires on him. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
And that's the thing. Like we were talking about it, right? Like Citra immediately was like, this is something one of your characters would do. Like this is, I'm gonna make up for this fuck up I did, and we're gonna have a party. And like I was just throwing the bit like, God damn it, Boyles, like get these fucking get these balloons out of the fucking. We can't use the station today, guys, because there's a helium leak and it's toxic. There's too much helium in the thing because Boyles decided to shoot all.
I try to make it like a celebration.
Exactly.
Boyles, why are there 8,000 balloons in the goddamn station? Come on now.
What
is this all about?
What do you see here, Wimley?
Wimley, Daddy, Daddy. But yeah, no, that's the thing is like you can see it, right? Even without the full context of being in the moment and having that sense of time and pop culture and setting, you can still feel why that was as popular as it was and what it was. And it's kind of like a testament to how good Mankind and The Rock were, where they literally took this concept, which is basically, hey, we're gonna give you these three nobodies that nobody knows. Come up with a backstory for them, and then send them on their way. Like, it's a very like I feel like that's a very our kind of role play thing, which is like, fuck it, make up lore for these no name characters that we won't see after this.
Yeah, but there's also the other takeaway of this is that like, I mean, where it comes down to is that again is if you're not involved in the wrestling world, you're not going to give a fuck about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I think that's role too, Like,
I was just about to say, I think that's like a thing just in general with like role play or wrestling, right? Like you see these moments that are so special for people that care about them and know about, know the lore and know the experience. The other people are just not going to be able to appreciate that, right? And that's a big thing in role play. Like, I was talking to somebody. Actually, I was talking to Cam last night about how streaming role play is a weird experience because unless you're in some exciting moment that anything it could capture anybody. There are very few people that can tune in and be like, oh, this is neat. You're talking to a store clerk. But for people that know what's going on, that can be a really interesting experience, right? Because they know the characters, they know the background to that whole scene, right? But if you're just somebody popping in, it's a difficult thing to be like, oh, this is happening, this is why, and explain it to somebody. You're just not gonna have the time to do that. And I think wrestling's probably very similar, where like Grumm, if you wouldn't have asked us to come to this podcast. If me and Purple stumble across that YouTube video and watch it on our own, like we're gonna be like, "What this shit?" and turn it off after 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. What the shit is this?
Yeah, and
that's having the opportunity to talk about it's interesting.
Yeah, and like, I think that's a lot. Like, I could sit here and I can show you like some of the good stuff that's going on right now in wrestling, but it doesn't. We don't know like how it ends. Like knowing how this like that segment ends and what happens after with the having the context of the end of that story to go, yeah, this is still going on the Dork side. Like even though that this leads to them like becoming somewhat of a tag team, but also not, and then Mankind feuding with somebody else, and this kind of being the end of their like there wasn't too much resolution from this where The Rock was like, okay, Mankind, I forgive you. Like I saw the effort you put in. I'll give you a second chance. Like it didn't really happen like that. So it just kind of this was it, and that's it, and the payoff is not great, but it doesn't matter because this is a moment that lived on in infamy and just importance in wrestling that they'll still talk like you go like, oh, like Mankind, like oh man, he got thrown off the cell, or speared into a flaming table, or was in a boiler room, but also Rock and Sock was great, so like it's
that's so ridiculous. Rock and Sock, like
Rock and Sock and Cock. There you go, Perp. We'll get you. We'll get them on. We'll get you. You can be the Rock Sock Cock connection.
All right. Well, I'll keep working out and see if things improve as far as that matter.
Get your cardio up. Running ropes is incredible cardio, but it's gonna hurt your back.
Oh, good question. Yeah, no, I need to buy a rope. Actually, I was actually talking to somebody about that recently. I need to buy a jump rope.
Yeah, there you go.
It's fun too. It's intense.
Yeah. Do you do the thing where you put both hands on the other side and just keep jumping? You got to get that fancy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty good jump roping. Like I did a lot of that when I was younger, but I haven't done it in years. So
I used to do that a lot when I was a kid too. But man, I don't think I'd be able to do it anymore.
Nope.
No way, man. I'll throw up.
Probably hurt myself, dude. I would fall face first into the floor somehow. I'd find a way to do it.
No, I think it's one of those things it's like riding a bicycle. You go back to it, you could once you learn how to jump up, you can definitely jump rope. It's consistent. So.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, let's get those plugs, those socials, anywhere that they can get you and your content. Citra, you want to start with where the people can find you?
I suppose. I got to shamelessly plug myself on your podcast.
Absolutely, bud. That's the payoff.
Right.
I bring you on, and then I instruct you to shamelessly plug your shit.
You can find me on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Citra. That's capital R, Citra. And also, you can get my socials at citra.beer.
Is it really citra.beer?
Yeah, dude.
That's so good.
You got that?
I've got that. I don't know how I got it, but I did. I'm waiting to get sued. Yeah.
Can't believe you got the cuss. That's a hell of a. That's so good.
Yeah.
Purple, where the people can find you?
So it's Twitter .com/PopAPurple for my tweets. I don't probably do enough, but I do post smoked meat pictures and stuff.
Ooh,
if someone wants to see live streams and stuff, you go to twitch.tv/purple. Real difficult, but I get it.
Just like
I
the color.
understand the color. Yeah, PURPLE.
Look at you spelling your name. Proud of you guys. Thank you guys for coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks
It
for
was
having
the
me,
blast. Yeah, thank you.
I cannot wait to show you guys more nerd stuff and that I enjoyed with pro wrestling, and we get to make fun of it. And Purple can ask more questions about it, such as what kind of pancake mix do you prefer? I'm a buttermilk guy.
Buttermilk. Yeah, if you're gonna go pancakes, I think that's the only way to go.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this, seeing more of this wrestling content and just being provided info about it and stuff and backstories and stuff. I think it's something I never really grew up with, and I think it's really cool though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I'm just sitting there. I was watching it, being like, "Oh, this is stuff like just conversation ideas for role play."
Yeah,
exactly.
And now you understand.
Still use ideas.
You're 100%. I can't wait to see what you guys pull from this of the coach who talks about how a player DDT'd these throwaway lines of being Like, Paulie's like, yeah, one time, I was playing football and this guy DDT'd another guy. And then when somebody goes, what's a DDT? You can just make up what it means, right? You just make it up, right? And that's what's so good about it. That's what's so good about it. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm coming on the dork side, visiting me on the dork side of the ring. I don't know. I'm still working on the outro part of this interview, but most importantly, thank you guys for coming on. I love you guys.
Love you too, Grumm.
Love you too, man. Thanks again.
So there you have it, folks. This is your life. The Rock, This Is Your Life, from September 1999. Again, I wanted to go with something a little bit more. I wanted to try something. I wanted to try some more of the well-known, to the wrestling fans, one of the more well-known segments and moments in history that gets talked about. But I wanted to show it to people who, not really, they've never seen it, right? Or if they did see it, they just didn't actually remember it. But this was good. I liked it. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Listen to me talk. This is what happens. I'm trying to either way. Look, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys, and by thank you guys I mean Citra and Purple at Papa Purple on Twitter at Citra TV. I believe that's it. I'm checking now. I didn't have my notes because I was like, yeah, I know these guys. I know these guys is Twitter and everything. I think it's Citra TV. At Citra_live. At Citra_live. And Purple is Papa Purple. That is good. Papa, P-A-P-A. And then the color, purple. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. Follow them on their Twitter or their Twitch. That's where you can find them. Citra is at twitch.tv/Citra. And Purple is twitch.tv/Purple. Thank you guys for hanging out, coming on. They will be back, as will me next week, as I sit down with my two close personal friends from the Tyler I Am Discord, Squid and Lee, and we talk about some pro wrestling music. Well, kind of. We talk about pro wrestlers in music videos. It's a lot of fun. There's two that we talk about, and it's good laughs, good times, and has one of my more favorite discussions of fashion that I've ever had. So thank you guys for checking out this week. Hopefully you check out next week at all. If you like the podcast, hit that subscribe button. If you're on the Apple Podcast, go to the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. There's two of them still. I don't know, but hit both of them. Hit the plus sign on both of them. If you're on Spotify, listen. Google Podcasts, same thing. Add it to your library of preferred podcasts, and listen to us every week here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast, talking about stuff. Follow us on Twitter at DorkSideRing. That's DorkSideRing. DorkSide Ring. That's on Twitter, on Instagram. I am Grumm on Twitter and Instagram. That's IAMGRUMM. If you want to, do all that stuff, that'd be great. Also, remember, 5-star reviews. Read reviews. I don't know what we're called, but either way, leave us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast page. Either one, I will find both of them, and I will read them on here on the podcast in either Dusty Rhodes or Macho Man's voice. It's custom made for you. Appreciate that. And I'll see you guys next week here on the Dork Side of the Ring, where we will have more fun with more friends, because wrestling is a lot more fun when no one is taking it serious. See you guys next week here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.